Welcome to NWA Connie Corso's podcast, where we talk all things dogs.
What up, what up, what up? We back for another one.
Hey, man, that intro is popping, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
Like that. You got that stuff.
Oh, man, that's, back in the day, I used to be in the music business, and that young lady singing, his name is Cheryl Humphrey from Arkansas. She was on American Idol and everything. I told her I needed something, and you see how good she is.
Yeah, she got you right.
Yeah.
There was another guy from Arkansas that made it on a what was that? Big Raymond? He was a big dude. He's from Arkansas, or was he from Tennessee?
I don't know, but they did have a bad boy not too long ago from Arkansas singing country or something, wasn't it?
No, I don't listen to that shit, man.
Okay. What's up, everybody? We back for another one. This is a special show here. We got Gerald from All World Doberman co-hosting with us today. What's up, Gerald?
How you doing, man? I'm happy to be here, and I think this is a beautiful thing, man. We bouncing stuff off each other and doing dog talks, man. I think this is what it's all about, man.
Right. Hey, and then tonight, the honorary guest is Anthony Forte of Rottweiler Haus Forte Kennels. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Blessed to be here and appreciate the opportunity. Talk dogs with you fellas.
That's what's up. No problem.
Anthony rapping Forte.
That's right. That's right.
Folks saying that. Rapping.
Yeah. You making a lot of noise in Arkansas, bro.
Man, I'm doing my best to build the kennel and bring awareness to the breed, and also show people that, hey, Arkansas is a small state. You don't hear too much coming from it, but we got a lot of great things going here, all over the state, not just with myself.
Gotcha.
Hey, Tony, I can call you Tony, right?
Yeah, you can call me Forte.
Forte, okay.
If you don't,
one of my favorite football players was Forte. He played for the Bears. Yeah.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question. I just got into Rottweilers, even though I personally think, and people they're gonna gigabyte gangster me on the line, man. But I really think that the Rottweilers are the Rolls Royces, the Bentleys of dogs. I mean, you're talking about size, stealth, intelligence, the look, and I'm even loving the look with the tail. Because I
gotta have a tail.
That's what I'm saying.
Gotta have a tail.
So my question is, number one is all breeders know, all good breeders know that the breeding foundation of your kennel is the bitches. Like 100%. That's 100%, right? 100%. So my question is, did you start your kennel by importing, or where did you get your bloodline from, and what were you looking for when you want to start breeding? Because, like I said, I just got into Rotties, and the guy from Cedar Bluff Kennels,
Dominique.
That's my dog, right? And Dominique was like, he taught me something I didn't realize, because certain Rotties have certain looks. They have that long muzzle or the mush muzzle. I have the long muzzle. He called that mush muzzle a Timitar. So to answer your question, what lines did you start your kennel from, and what got you into the Rottweiler breed specifically?
Okay, Ken, I want to take it all the way back. All right.
Okay.
I've been with Roddy since I was about 4 years old, through my dad. Now,
right.
Back in the day, we wasn't worried about no bloodlines, no health tests. You know how it was. I'm 33 years old. This was nearly 30 years ago. All right. So we didn't
can be my son. You know that, right? I'm 53 this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we wanted a big, beautiful dog that did well with the family, but also loyal, courageous, and protective. Right. That's what got us in the Rotties and my dad. As I got older, of course, I had multiple Rotties along the way. Again, no specific bloodlines, none of that fancy stuff. Just a big, beautiful, powerful, loyal dog. Whenever I decided as an adult to get my first Rottie, of course, I started doing a little research, and I'm hearing German Rottweiler, German this, German that. So I look around, I find someone local that has one, and he tells me, "Oh, this is German bloodlines, German this, German that, German this, German that." And I'm listening, I'm soaking it all in. Okay.
Yeah.
That dog turned about 6 months old, and man, that wasn't looking like the dogs I was seeing online. Didn't look like them. The muzzle was way too long. The head was narrow. The body was weedy. The bone density was very light, almost as if I bought a Doberman mix with a Rottweiler. And I'm just being honest. Honest. So once I got to that point, I had a buddy of mine. His name is Cavante McPeters. He had been dealing with Rotties a little bit longer than me as far as breeding. I sent him the pedigree. He said, "Yeah, brother, this ain't no German Rottweiler." I almost lost a friend that day when he told me that, because I said, "No, brother, this is a German Rottweiler." He showed me on the pedigree, man. You'd see this and that, and I said, "Oh man, okay." So I kind of took that and I ran with it. The dogs that I initially bought to start my program, I never bred them. They have permanent spots on the foot of my bed and my daughter's bed, because I learned pretty early, like, hey, this ain't that. So once I learned, I said, okay, now I already invested. I got to step back, and then let me figure out what I want to do. All right. And at that point, that's when I started heavily researching bloodlines, heavily researching Rottweilers all over I stopped looking local, and I broadened my search, and I started world. And so I say that to say this: with my first female that I got for breeding, her name was Eva Eklund. She was from the Eklund kennel in Poland. I didn't import her, but a lady that I got her from had just imported her, had some things go on to where I inquired her. And at that point, I made sure she had her health test. She comes from very prestigious bloodlines. Her mom is Yoko Eklund, who is a champion. Her father is Mauser of Nicholas Lyon, who's a champion in many countries. She's a granddaughter of Hero, who is a world famous German Rottweiler. I decided to do the necessary research, make the necessary investments to start my foundation of my kennel on the right foot. And that's where I started learning about the health tests. Had no idea about it.
Yeah.
And made sure that we did her hips, elbows, JLPP minimum. Now, of course, you want to do eyes, you can do thyroid, you can do heart, you can do patella, so many more health tests to do, but I started off there.
Yeah, they care about them hips and elbows.
Absolutely.
OFA.
Even if I tell people all the time, look on the AKC, because that's the big thing now, the AKC. They even have it on their website that they recommend these certain tests. Why wouldn't we do them? And so I started off with her. I bred a really nice dog that he actually had a champion team. Still got me? Okay, yeah, he had a champion title from Germany, all the health tests, the temperament test. Had my first litter, and I kind of started there. Of course, I kept a puppy from that litter to see how he would mature, develop, and excuse me. Whenever I started, I always had in mind that I don't want to just have dogs and just breed dogs and just push them all over the place. I actually want to keep dogs that I breed and compete with them. I want to show them. One, I want to show people that, one, this is an amazing breed that I've known my whole life. But two, I want to show that, hey, we have good quality coming from this state. And if you do the right breedings the right way, you can get what you're looking for.
Yeah.
As we know, every breeding doesn't pan out. It's impossible. But if we have the adequate information as far as the bloodlines, temperament of parents, critiques from the parents, we're going to have a better idea on what we're going to be able to produce. So I say all that to, again, say that I started off with a better baseline than I would have, granted, if I didn't get the information that I needed. And those bloodlines are from overseas. They're from Serbia, Poland, Germany, and I also have other females that I've imported. Great dogs from Serbia, Romania, Germany. And they all come from world famous dogs, world famous working dogs, world famous conformation dogs. And again, they have all the health tests to kind of back them. And yeah, that's essentially where I got my start at, is again, first bumping my head because I didn't have the right information. But once I gathered more information, I chose to dig deeper. Once I chose to dig deeper, I started gathering mentors that were helping me. They were giving me information, telling me, do this, don't do that. Hey, keep an eye out on this, just to try to help better me and help better the breed.
You know what's interesting, Joe, when I talk to Anthony, it's like deja fucking vu.
Why is that?
And what I mean by it is that everybody who's passionate about a specific breed, first of all, it starts with the passion of that breed, right?
Mm-hmm.
16 years ago, I was just in Anthony's shoes, where I bought a dog I thought from a reputable breeder that says from 100% European, and I bought a female. I bought a male, and I'm gonna call his name. It's called Bickerstaff. Bernie Bickerstaff is his brother. Bernie coached in the NBA, and his son, Bernie's son now is a coach for the. I think it was. I don't know. But anyway, Percy Bickerstaff was the guy who I bought my first male Adobe from, and I asked him. I said, "It's 100% European," because, you know, we're Americans. We get caught up on size, looks.
Yeah, for sure.
Bigger is better.
Yeah, and the women think so too, right?
Yeah.
So I bought the dog, and first of all, I went there at 4 weeks. Okay, nigga, not knowing that you can't pick out. If you got to pick it a little, you ain't gonna know at 4 weeks. I'm not knowing. This is in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going through a divorce. My wife is at the house. I got the crib now. She didn't like dogs, and she's from Belize. I'm like, you got wild dogs walking the street called dingoes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's out. I'm gonna get me a Doberman, something that'll fit in my condo. You know, nice size, short haired. You know, all the things that I wanted. I went there in 4 weeks. I picked them out. Now I'm not knowing, like, these motherfuckers change over a week's period, right?
Oh yeah.
And then when I went there at 8 weeks, I said, I'm coming to pick them up. He said, okay, I'll be right back. I'll bring them to you. That should have been right there.
Mm-hmm.
He bait and switched me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I pulled the pedigree. I'm not knowing nothing, man, about nothing. I just know that I want a European Doberman, king size, whatever the hell that means, right? And I took him to my guy, Lewis Williams, who's a trainer, canine trainer. And I'm like, why is all these dogs acting a fool on the rag? And mine just looking at it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, I got a Doberman. He's supposed to be cranking up. He's from his great-great-grandfather's champions, this, champions that. And I'm getting snowballed with this shit, right? And when I read the pedigree and I realized why he never let me see the father had a white spot on his chest, didn't know that that's genetic, right? And so what I did, man, because I think, Anthony, you got any kids?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And Joe, you got kids too, right?
Oh yeah, you got two.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we don't determine what sex we want. We don't determine what complexion, what height, nothing.
None of that.
When it comes to these motherfucking dogs, now I'm going to determine what I want. I'm not going to keep a dog. Dude, I paid child support for 18 plus years. There's no way I'm going to keep an animal that poops more than me, go to the vet more than I go to the doctor, and he ain't contributing to the house.
No, not big.
I gave him away. I made sure I cut my losses.
Yeah.
And then from that point, I did some more research, and I did import my first dog. And that was my foundation, was because I never had a place big enough. You know, even though I'm born and raised in Mississippi, out here in LA, if you got a crib with a backyard, you balling.
Yeah.
You winning.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was not winning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And things have changed now, but I didn't have the space to whelp litters. That shit is 24-hour clock. And so I did my research. I imported one, and the shit took off from there, right? So when I hear what you said about a guy sold you a dog and he sold you a lie.
Yes.
You know, and then because listen, in order to be in this game, guys, we got to get fucked some kind of way. We got to know to learn from what not to do next time around. I don't pick dogs out at 3 and 4 weeks. You know, I have a certain thing that I look for traits, even though that's still in a guarantee.
Right.
I don't go for the biggest one in the litter because that just may be the one that's getting all the food. You know, I've seen runts become the biggest dogs out of the litter. So I get that, and I go with this. And so the Rottie is a breed I'm studying because I have one. I have one from a breeder that I imported from Serbia. Her name is what's Simone's kennel name? Force. Right. But right.
I handle dogs from our kennel.
Dude, she's the best breeder. Like the communication, sending money.
She's a good person.
Oh my God, dude, she's the cream of the crop.
Yep.
No shit. She had a litter 2 years ago. And even though I love the show line look of the Rottweiler, not the Timitar look, but the real look, right? But the sire was called Puma von Wilden Weston.
Weston, yes. Great.
He's an Irish.
Very nice.
Yeah. I got a mail off of him.
Okay. Okay, so you got something.
I'm not fucking around, man. Listen. Yeah. Dude,
Okay.
if I'm going to buy a Cocker Spaniel, I'm going to do my research now. You know what I'm saying? So, because I do protection sports. I'm in the IGP.
Okay.
It's called IGP. It was called IPO and then Shitsum. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, my boy just got his BH.
Yes, sir.
Next step is the one, right? So, and now I'm getting his hips OFA next Wednesday because he's 2 now. I don't do all that pre-examination. I don't waste my time. I go for the jugular when it's like, okay, this is gonna count.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the hips can change.
Yeah.
I get done at 15 months, and instead of using OFA, I send them over to Germany.
See, I heard y'all been doing that. Is that just with the Rottweiler though? Y'all can get those shipped over there and let them grade them?
For the Rottweilers, absolutely. Yeah. That's what all my dog's getting. 15 months, hips and elbows. I ship you over to Germany next day shipping, and we get it there. And that's, in my opinion, I feel like that's one of the reasons why overseas they're a little ahead of us in America.
Oh, big time. Oh my God.
They're saying 2 years, and over there they're saying 15 months. And their studs are breeding at 11, 12 months right after so one, you're learning at an earlier time what your dog is producing. That's a big, especially with the males. Now, I don't condone you breeding females at that age because that's crazy. And we wait till we're closer to 2, but yeah, they're doing them. They've been doing it over there for years. 12.
So what happens? You get your hips X-rayed here, and then you send them over.
Yes, I get it.
Graded at 50 months, and that kind of helps you because what if the dog get injured? You know what I mean? It's best to get them done as early as you possibly can. Yeah. That's sweet.
Yeah. So man, what's funny is that the brothers that I've talked to that's in the Rottweiler game, most of the cats that's putting out quality shit is down south.
Yeah.
No shit about it. And I'm like, I don't know if the culture's different down south when it comes to the Rotties, because the Frenchies, there's a money culture, but the Rottweiler quality breeding is from the cats I know down south. The Hispanics are locking it up out here. Yeah. Right. But now, man, like my first Rottie that I loved that belonged to a friend of mine named Dale, and Dale has all his Wutons, Genix Wuton shit.
Genix Wuton, Genix Uno, and all them. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So he got all that. As a matter of fact, his dog, Sadie, who's a Rottweiler, she was in that movie called Transformers. The first Transformer was that Rottie was chasing Shia LaBeouf. That's Dale's dog.
Okay.
So I saw this one Rottweiler, and I was like, man, he look beautiful. He's hyper. I love dogs that want to work.
Yes.
I'm just saying, right? They gotta have that bounce to him. My boy has that bounce, man. And from that point, I was like, if I got a Roddy, he's got to be athletic, bouncy, and all that shit. You know.
Yeah.
And so Dale had one from an offspring, and the dog was beautiful, but he had real light orange eyes. I said, man, that looks beautiful. Dale was like, dude, that's a defect. Can't do it. I didn't see. These are things I didn't know. I know now that, you know, with the Doberman game, we do dark almond eyes, gums inside the mouth got to be black. The top line, the bottom line, you got to have the kitten paws. I know all about that shit now.
Come on now. Come on.
And with the Roddy game, they critiquing how curled the tail is.
Yeah, you can't have no ringtail, no bobtail, none of that.
Dude, this game is fucking deeper than I think. And I'm learning, because at the end, we still have that common thing, which is the love of animals. Because, you know, I always quote this shit. And somebody told me a while back, it said, in the Bible, it says, we are the keepers of the beast. That means we as humans are responsible for all the animals on this planet. I mean, all of them. Fish.
A million over them.
Yes. And so for me, man, it's always exciting when I told Joe, I want to be on the show to talk to you.
Yeah.
He didn't ask me. I asked him.
He did. That's the truth. Yeah.
I was like, I got to get in it because this is how I learn, man. You know, I'm never too old to learn. You know, so for me, it was like, I want to talk about this. And so tell me about the tail part, because my dog his tail's almost straight.
Okay.
Right? But it's like this right here. That's it. But it's not like this right here. What are breeders looking for when they see that tail, a curled tail?
Well, it's the biggest thing is it's a fault. And if it's a ringtail, it's a disqualifying fault, especially if you're looking to compete. I've some of the most beautiful dogs I've seen out there. I see them get put by the wayside because of a tail, because it's too curly. It's, you know, and once that happens, that even kind of throws the look of the dog off too.
Yeah.
The dog tail isn't wagging or isn't wagging back. It's too busy laying up on it.
Yeah.
And
makes sense.
Look that we're looking for. And that tail, in my eyes, that tail is a symbol of balance. That tail, having that tail there instead of that nub, like you can, I truly believe that it helps with the balance of the dog. And I have my first dogs I mentioned to y'all, they were docked. Obviously as a breeder, I don't dock anything. I keep that natural tail because that symbols balance. And if that tail is all curled up and hanging on one side of the body, where is that balance at? You know what I mean?
That's a good point, because Brutus is training for his one, right? And he has to run one blind, but then he has to do a send out where he do a long attack.
Yep.
And it's interesting because his tail, it'll go this way while he's going this way, and it creates balance while he's shifting. It's just like a cheetah. Cheetah tail is super fucking thick and tall, right? But their top speed is at 65, 66 miles an hour. And if they shift, they have to be able to shift with a balance, or they're going to tilt over, and because they can only go fast for 2 minutes and then they burn out. Right. So that tail, to me, I look at Roddies with no tail different now. Like,
when did that start to change from dock to having the tails? Just recently?
So I wouldn't say that, because overseas it's illegal to dock tails.
Oh yeah.
So essentially been like that. But the thing is when you're importing adult dogs from Germany, Serbia, Romania, they're coming with the tails, you know. And I don't feel like it's a recent thing. I think people have been keeping tails. I've kept them since I've been breeding.
Okay.
I also know breeders that they dock tails because it's more appealing to their clientele or to who they're trying to sell the dog to. But I'm also seeing a lot of people are keeping the tails because why cut it?
Yeah.
But like what's the purpose behind? Oh, it looks better. No, that's just what you're used to seeing.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks better. In my eyes too, we have Rotties, big, beautiful, powerful dogs. When people see a Rottie that doesn't belong to them, they get alerted. Let's be honest. They see this big old dog. They see that nub, they just looking at, okay, but then they see that tail and they see that thing wagging.
Tells you a lot, yeah.
Expression on the face. That helps you read a dog.
Yeah.
And it puts people at ease as well. Whenever I moved back to BB about 4 years ago, I had to go to a new vet. They hadn't seen very many dogs with tails at all. Now the vet, every time I have a litter, I'm getting them checked out. He's like, man, we forgot to cut the tails on these. Now he said, man, I'm glad you keep the tail on all your puppies. He said, I'm seeing the difference. And he's been a vet for over about 40 years.
Mm.
Seeing these Rotties with tails, and I'm seeing yours, and I've fallen in love with it.
Yeah, me too.
Mm. Gerald asked you about kind of like when your mind shifted. Who was key in or instrumental in giving you knowledge and setting you up in the proper way?
I have to say that it could go to people. My mentor from Vom Isa House, her name is Monica Cruz, up in Maryland. Really took me under her wing and gave me a lot of helpful information. That one of the things I liked about it is she gave me information that made me think. She wasn't just shoveling information at me. She was like, hey, take this, go see, this, or go check this out. And it made me go look into it. And whenever I'm looking into it, I'm digging deeper than the surface and I'm gaining information. And her, I've had other people along the way. I have a buddy, Tommy Hudson. He's helped me a lot, giving me information. Anytime I have a question, he's there. I have friends that are breeders over in Serbia. And then one of them, her name is Tamara Christo. They call her kennel's called TK's Kennel. Whenever I'm looking to import one of my first dogs, she's someone that I became very close with. And I'm still close to her to this day, where she would just give me information about this, tell me about that, things that other people, I'm not going to say they were gatekeeping the information, they just didn't know. And she was giving me, even the guy I got my first Rottie from, where he was saying German this, German that, he just didn't know what he was talking about. It's plain and simple, and that's okay. But it's all about us constantly learning and evolving. And once we learn better and we know better, we do better. So again, Monica, she helped me a lot. TK, I have another buddy, Quinn Brunsfield from down in Florida. Always able and been willing to give me information. I've mentioned my buddy Cavante McPeters. He and I have thrown information off of each other time and time again. If it's something that we both don't understand, Monica is essentially both of our mentors. We'll go to Monica, but we try to understand it and learn it ourselves. So I could say it's been a team of people along the way. And I'm one of those people that I'm a sponge. If you're giving me information, I'm going to take it in. And if it applies to where I'm trying to go, it's getting used. And if it really makes sense, I'm telling the next person about it. But yeah, that's where I could say it started, is those handful of people.
I got a question. So every 2 or 3 years in the Doberman community, I can only relate to the Doberman community because I've only been in the Rottweiler family.
Right.
I've only been adopted to the Rottweiler family for 2 years. In the Doberman community, every 2 or 3 years, there's a hot stud that people want to get dogs off of. Every 2 or 3 years. And if you don't buy an animal overseas, because see, I only have studs, I only have males, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a stud service provider. When my dogs turn 4 or 5 years old, I'm looking for another male already, right?
Already looking.
Yeah. I'm like the NFL, dog. I'm in the replacement business. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So my question is, who's the top stud over there? And okay, so for what I look for a dog that has working titles, but also show titles, right? A balance, a ZTP, or in a BH or IGP1, and some confirmations beyond the puppies, because you can get a puppy title too. So who's the top stud over there? That's one part of that question. The other part is, are you familiar with the new CDC rules that started August 1st of this year?
Hey, before you answer that, we got another special guest coming in.
Bring him in.
Y'all know him. He deal with the same breed. Brother,
I'm
G
loving it.
Hop.
I'm loving it. I'm eating
I
it
know
up.
it. What's up, G Hop?
Y'all look good, man. I'm eating it up, man. I'm glad that you all could really come together and collaborate with a bunch of information that people need to know as they move forward to try to pick a dog for themselves, whether it's a family dog, a working dog, or whether they're going into breeding. So always honored to come on and to share whatever I have learned with your audience.
Yes, sir. Welcome. All right. Brother Anthony, you want to finish that question out? Gerald just asked you.
Oh, yes, man, I'll be honest. When it comes down to top studs for me, all the things that you mentioned are on my list. But I also want to see what he's producing. Is he producing himself? Is he out producing himself? Is he producing some, excuse my language, some BS? Like, well, what are we getting from this dog? Now, when it a very, very broad question, because I think there's a lot of top dogs overseas that I personally have used and that I plan on using. A couple of my personal favorites are Harry of the, I believe it's Harry of the Little Godfather. Very nice dog. I'm not 100% sure on his working titles, but he has a lot of confirmation titles. I've seen him in action. Excellent drive, excellent structure, movement, mouth pigment, well prepared for show. Temperament is on point. Another one that I personally have used, I've seen in person, and even had the opportunity of handling once in person. His name is TK's Bad Boy. He has his IGP1. He's a champion in multiple countries. He's produced multiple dogs for myself that have done very well in shows where they are winning their class, winning best youth.
Right.
I actually had a dog this morning that I was training, and he's off of TK's Bad Boy. Excellent dog. Very, very sound temperament. Excellent breed type, drive, confirmation, confidence, courage. Very nice dog. Some other ones that I've seen that I really like. Another one, his name is Nemo Baumhaus Keegan. I believe a guy in America, he's overseas competing, but I believe a guy in America owns him. Peter Christopher. Haven't been able to see Nemo in person yet, but I'm hoping to later this year by the end of show season. So Nemo's a very nice dog. He's from Baumhaus Keegan, who is an amazing kennel. The owners of the kennel are also judges. So they have a very good eye for the dog, for the breed in general. I would say those are two of the top ones that I really like. And there's others that are still being used to this day. I like Rudy Baumhaus Newbrain is a very nice dog. Very good in type for a 100% German dog. Relatively good structure. He has working titles, all of his health tests, and he's produced a lot of offspring that has proven that they've been able to produce something that is done well on the show, in the show field and on the working field. Now, I don't always breed for heavy, high drive working dogs, but I do need workability and drive for what I do with confirmation shows. Because as y'all know, Seeger shows are a little bit different than AKC.
Right. A lot different.
They about to run you. You need to be able to have a dog that can be pushed to the limits without breaking mentally or structurally. So again, those are some of the top dogs. You mentioned Pumbaa earlier. Mm-hmm. Excellent stud. Very nice German stud. There's a couple dogs from that Pumbaa, and there might be Punta as well from that kennel. Very nice dogs.
Yeah, Claus, he's the owner of Pumbaa. He confirmed with Simone before I put the money down and wired it in euros.
Right.
And that's another thing people don't realize. If you guys are going to import, first of all, buy import from somebody that you trust. But just think, if they tell you $2,500, that's not $2,500.
Right.
Our money's weak over there.
Yeah. It's like what, 27, 28 probably.
50 cents on a dollar almost.
Yeah.
I think it's like you wind up being like 88 cent. A dollar is worth 88 cents over there, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So my question is, the second part to that, Anthony, is that with the new CDC rules, I think you guys are going to smash, because now people are not going to want to wait. Well, they prefer not to wait 6 months to import an animal, because now the price of the dog goes up, the shipping cost goes up. You better get a big enough crate where the head don't touch the inside of the crate.
Mm-hmm.
So dogs are generally, I think I paid $4,800 American dollars. If I had waited for them to be 3 more months, that shit probably would have doubled, man.
Yeah.
Right.
It was the size of the dog.
I don't spend $8,000 on no puppy if he ain't proven. I can't do it. I don't give a shit.
I think here's the beautiful thing. From what I understand, it's going to be up to 6 months getting a special permit to ship them. So you used to be able to say, okay, if you wanted to get a female that was pregnant, she would come in heat, and you could send your deposit or wait to confirmation that she's confirmed, and you could send your money. Well, if you got 6 weeks to wait, you're going to have to be strategic in your contract, because if you pay a deposit on a female and it comes back 30 days later that she is not pregnant, then you got the question of what do you do with the female that you have paid all this money for, that's there and that's not pregnant. So I think it's going to be a win for those who are serious about it. It's going to be a win. And we have some nice dogs over here now. So people are going to be able to get females. They're going to look at getting females at a cheaper rate that are not pregnant, shipping them over, and then just waiting for them to come over and heat here and breed them to the right thing here.
But you know what, though? I agree with you. But, I had a bad experience. like most devs said, I had a bad experience on this movie. And I'm like, they're never going to send you that best bitch. And if it's a female that's available, that's breedable, it's got to be something wrong with it, because even though they can't ship over here for a certain amount of months, right? That means that somebody would have bought them over there. So my thing is, I've invested as a partner in a grown female for $7,500. My part was $25. And allegedly she had 2 litters prior. That's been 2 years ago now, and she can't get pregnant. So it's like, it's going to be a crapshoot, and nothing's guaranteed, and I know that. But I think that it's, with this new CDC rule kicked in, I think the real players, the real people who are serious about this, are going to only pony up the money to buy something good and wait that long for it, while the other cats probably will fall to the wayside. But then the people who are here in America, like us, we already got the recipe. We got the 11 herbs and spices.
Right.
I'm just calling what it is. We got what you want over here.
Mm-hmm.
So now the price can go up, like supply and demand. You can wait 6 months, or you can wait 8 weeks. Which one you want to do?
For real.
Right.
Yeah. Over here, and I'm a firm believer that whenever you are getting a female over there, because like you said, they'll never send their best dog. That's why it's so important that you have a outstanding relationship.
Right. Exactly.
Before you start importing. They have to understand what you're trying to do with the dog. See, some people are just trying to import a pregnant female just to have puppies on the ground.
Right.
That's their prerogative. But then some of them are trying to, with that pregnant female, produce them something that they can take out into the show ring.
Right.
So they keep in their kennel to continue that bloodline. So like for me, with some of the females that I imported them because they had something that I didn't see over here. I have a female, her name is Vinny, Unipera. She's from a very famous kennel over there, but she's daughter of Vico von der Maxi Rott. two-time world winner, amazing dog. Once I started researching about him, I couldn't find not one of his offsprings in America. So I called my trusted Serbian friend, Miss TK.
Right.
Essentially told her what I was looking for, and she delivered. She found her and she said, hey, this is one of the few that I found and that I can see. Hey, and she had an amazing stud that I had been waiting to breed to, which is TK's Bad Boy. Had her bred to them, got Vinny over here. Everything is done well. She's had 3 litters for me, has produced multiple dogs that have done well in show confirmation, and she's even had one of her sons that went to a protection training home. So it's all about having the right relationship with someone over there,
right,
that makes sure to keep it real with you, that understand what you want to do. And the thing is, when they see that you're serious and that you're going to take their bloodline essentially to the next level over here, they're going to be more than likely to continue to send you better quality dogs.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, and then like Gerald, I don't see you having a bunch of problems because like people don't play with you when you got these platforms. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
They know you got platforms like this, man. They be like, you know, at least with me, they don't, you know.
And I'm not trying to interrupt you, Joe. And another thing, and my buddy K-Mac, he mentioned it.
Yeah, Cavante, is this a Cavante y'all been telling me about? McPeters right here? Okay.
And,
okay, cool. Nice to meet you, sir.
He mentioned something that I was gonna mention before, but he beat me to it. That we're gonna pay more money over here.
Right.
Let's keep it real. So they would rather send a pregnant female over here. Yeah, they could have sold it over in Serbia for a 1/5 of the price that they could sell it over here to America pregnant. Especially if it's coming from a stud that isn't over in America and that hasn't been used often in America. People are they're going to say, oh, I want puppies off of Bad Boy. I want puppies off of New Yorker. So when you have a pregnant female and you send them over here, bred by that stud, they move like.
So let me ask you this. And again, I'm new to this breed, right? So when I ask you these things, I know you know the answer. And I mentioned guys like you and like Cedar Bluff who breed for quality versus quantity. There's a difference.
Yes.
But I follow this guy, man. I think he's out of Texas, man. Butler Rottweiler Kennels, man. And let me tell you something. I don't know if I'm seeing his cars all the time or the 88 dogs that he got, but you know, I'm not going dirty Mac on because I don't want to do that to brothers. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. But I noticed that the customers what he sells is size, right? And these dogs, unless they're running behind them on that 4-wheeler, they're not that mobile. But this is what people want because we are, as Americans, we're visual, right? Right? I mean, so my question is, even though you're not on the scale that he is, I think that the quality of the breeding is more important than the quantity. And what do you have to say about breeders who are having 200 and 300 and 200 litters a year minimum? And I'm talking about, when I saw that shit he got, man, he's got like damn near 50 females, man.
Yeah. Well, that's.
Have you seen that shit, Joe?
Yeah. I've seen it passingly. Yeah.
I'm like, how is he cleaning all that dog shit? It's like,
yeah. He got a pretty big operation.
One of the about me is and Jihad knows this about me. Whenever I may have mentioned it a little bit earlier, whenever I do a breeding, I do that breeding for me. I do it because I plan on keeping something.
Right.
And don't keep if I have the right homes for it to go to, it's gonna go there. And I say that to say this: people that are breeding that much, they're not breeding for themselves. They're not breeding to better the breed. They're breeding 100% for their pockets. And I'm not gonna knock the man. That's how he eats. That's how he chooses to live. That's okay, but that's not how I want to do it. You know, I have a handful of dogs. I currently have 13 on my property right now. Out of those 13, 8 of them are dogs that I produced because I'm having litters and I'm like, ooh, I need to keep this one. Let this one develop. Let's see how these bloodlines develop. Let's see how this combination is going to develop long term. Let's see how they do with health tests. I'm looking for not only to keep my production, but I'm also looking to gain information.
That, you know what? It's funny you say that because I love candy, like seeds, candy, sweets, cakes, pies, all that shit. Like that would be, listen, if sugar was outlawed, that'd be the most addictive drug in the world, right?
Right.
And I'm going somewhere with this. The reason why I don't have females, the second reason is because I know I'll be want to keep something every time. And it's hard for me to give or sell something. And like I can see how easy it can be an animal hoarder, like to some of these white folks, they have 60 cats and that. I get it. I get it now because it's like I have an affinity for them, right? It's like, and my wife, when I told her I was getting another one, which is make 4 males, and we already got 2 cats, she was like, "What's going on here? Are you okay? You need to get." I'm like, but no, it's like I love these animals so much, and I love what they give to me because what they give back to me, money can't buy. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like I feel for you, bro, because if you're making great litters, it's hard to like sell them to somebody when you know that even though it's going to a good home, a good pet home, they don't have the plans that you would have for the dog.
Reach its potential with the person.
Right.
And so I've gotten to the point where, I've been busting at the seams because I kept so many puppies. And I've been fortunate enough to build relationships with other dog handlers and breeders around the United States to where if I have a really nice dog and I have a friend, Lainey Leal, like I place dogs with her. I have another buddy, Jody Johnson. Yeah. He placed dogs with, if I have really nice quality dogs and I don't have the space and they see the value in that dog too, and I'm able to place it because I know that they're going to show the dog. They're going to help test the dog. It's going to have good living conditions. They're going to help this dog reach its full potential. I'll place it. And that's why it's so important for us to build relationships.
Oh, you're right. And especially if you're into the art of breeding and just bettering in a breed, you got to hold back.
You have to.
And you have to have the partners to help you.
And they see that you're doing the right thing and trying to go down the right path. And they're going to be more likely to keep a puppy from you. Because when a puppy, that's another mouth to feed. That's another vet bill that they got to take care of. Mm-hmm. That's another pile of doo-doo they got to clean up. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that comes with it. That's why relationships is so big. And also finding people that have the same goals and are on the same path as you. That's why my buddy K-Mac and Akabante had same goals, mindset. We've been rocking out since I got started in this.
Right. Hey, let me say this too, that I think the important thing is, you talk about somebody that may have 50 dogs. And I think the important thing is, and this is what most of the people who may say, hey, I want a dog, they don't understand, is that if the genetic health test is not there, you're more likely to have that vet bill that runs $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. So when a person say, I understand that I need a dog that has some genetic health tests, they're looking for something specific that's going to kind of move them to the side where they don't have to have the ideal in their head that they're going to have issues down the road, right? Health issues anyway, at the forefront of their mind. So I think, that distinguishes the person who is trying to do the right thing versus the person that is just concerned about making a dollar. And so when Forte first started talking about genetic health tests, there was nobody in Arkansas out of the hundreds of breeders that I know and I've dealt with over the years, there was nobody in the state talking about health testing the Rotties. Were there a handful of people that had health tested dogs that were titled? Yes, but they kept that to themselves. They wasn't trying to educate people. They weren't trying to mentor anybody. They used that knowledge. You had to go to them to get the best if you wanted the best. but they were not educating. So Forte really leaped out into the forefront in Arkansas by doing the education around health testing, and caught a bit of slack behind it. But as time went on, we started seeing more and more people in the state of Arkansas started health testing their riders because of that, brother. They were not doing it at first. You had breeders that had been breeding for 20 years that didn't know anything about health testing. Nothing at all.
They got mad at him probably because, you know, when you talk about being better, it causes pressure on people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, like I mentioned before, I feel like a lot of people just didn't know whenever I got going, and so I felt like it was important for me to just share the information that I knew. And again, like Jihad said, a lot of people didn't know. And when I was talking about health testing, I was talking about conformation shows and Seeger shows and showing your dog and all that. A lot of people didn't appreciate it, but I also feel like a lot of people started understanding the importance of it.
Right.
Went on, and they started looking around and noticing all these famous dogs that I like to talk about in my dog's pedigree that are 4 generations back. They had health tests. They had some Seeger shows. A lot of these dogs that they like to say, oh, my dog's a champion this and titled this, and they started realizing all these dogs they talking about have health tests done.
Right.
So why not?
That's a good point, because in the Doberman community, we've always been plagued. Every breed has a genetic mutated issue, right? The gene. In the Doberman community, we have a thing called DCM. I think it's degenerative cardiomyopathy. And then we have a thing called degenerative myopathy. And 12, 14 years ago, you can see all the titles and all the trophies of these dogs and getting all this Royal Canin shit for free at these shows in Europe. But they was not talking about the health tests. And it wasn't up until the Americans started seeing, why is my Dobie croaking over at 3 and 4 years of age?
Man, come on now.
Right? And so, listen, white folks, they know how to rally some shit up when it comes to it, right?
Right.
And they, you know, they took a stance, because I was still basically on the outside looking in, even though I had a Dobie, that that say, you guys got to health test these dogs. So now the focus is more about just as many health tests. It could be just as many titles, right? They want to see Hollister, they want to see the hips, the elbows, thyroids, VWD, DCM 1, 2, and 3, and I used to get a lot of shit done through VetGen. Now I get it through Embark. But
yes, sir, absolutely.
Yeah.
Davis and Embark are normally the go-tos right now.
Yeah, well, VetGen closed down.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
they closed down. So because I used to call Ann all the time. She already knew me, like, I need the doping packages.
Yeah.
Hey, but y'all notice the AKC is offering something different now.
I saw that.
It's $135, but they offering something that's more extensive than what they've been offering, and they just started that like the last 60 days.
Yeah. And so, you know, with the Dobermans now, the key thing is health tests. Health tests. Now, I'm like you, Anthony. My boy's got to have some kind of prey drive. I mean, I'm if you don't like the ball or the rag or sleeve or something, rock.
Yeah.
Because that's just genetic.
Right.
And I do firmly believe that it can be environmental as well. Based off of, because I've seen puppies that I let go at 8 weeks, and I had the flirt stick and they was buck wild. They was going crazy. And then I see them a year later and I hit them in the face with the flirt stick and they don't even try to bite. Because I also believe it has something to do with what they're exposed to once they get.
Most of these people who buy dogs from you, from me, like the celebrity wife, Margie Harvey, bought a Doberman from that Doberman she got is from me. Right. But that boy, that my male that created that dog, I mean, Brody was an IPO too. I mean, he failed the 3 like 2 or 3 times, but it was either the tracking or the obedience.
Right.
And so I'm like, does she really know what the fuck she getting? And obviously she knew it, right? But these people who get these dogs with working potentials, they just want to have a Corvette in the garage.
Yeah.
They don't never want to hit the highway with it, open it up. They want to, you know, most of them don't want to work. Only trainers who are looking for a dog for another client for training will specifically look for a working dog. Everybody else want to have the total package.
Yes.
And only be able to drive 40 miles an hour. I'm like, dude, if I got a Corvette, like I got a Grand National. I've been had it for 20 years, right?
Mhm.
When I drive that Grand National, yeah, I'm gonna cruise. But if that 405 is opened up, I want to hear that jet engine sound.
Right.
You know, so I get it because I want to be able to go when I want to go, right? But these people who are buying these dogs, they're most of 95% of them are not buying them because of the workability. They're buying it because of the look.
Right.
And we have to educate them on the background of our dogs that we put together. Like, this dog got great conformation, great top line, great bottom line. He ain't got an overbite. And we point these things out, even though they may be hearing us, but they ain't listening. But these are the things that down the line gonna make sense because people, my boy Dale Cunningham said it best. Dale said, people know what quality breeding is. You can see it. You can see a Rottweiler from Joe Blow kennel for $1,100 versus a Rottweiler from your kennel or Cedar Bluff for $35,000, $4,000.
Right.
There's a hell of a difference.
Right.
You know, I love it when people like, because, you know, our dogs go from 25 to 3,500, right?
Yep.
And it was like, man, that's a lot of money, man. I said, you can go on Craigslist, go to the rescue. He said, I said, but you go out and you spend 8-10 grand on a Frenchie. Well, that's a Frenchie. I said, dude, you can't breed those dogs naturally. They can't give birth naturally. They got breathing problems. They can't walk. They can't. I'm like, dude, I get personal when it's well, it's not a Frenchie. That's a Frenchie though, dude. Every dog that's well bred has a value.
Yes.
Right.
Every dog.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So
17. Would you consider the Lackey Von Der working our show Rottweiler bloodline?
Very nice German working dog. I do consider him more so of a working dog. Now, I do believe he has show titles as well, but his offsprings and what he's done on the working field and show field are what got him his name. A lot of people, if they go look in the back of their pedigrees, 4 or 5 generations deep, if you have a quality dog, you're probably going to see a little bit of Lackey there.
You know, the interesting part about that, before we go to the next one, is that, and I don't know if it's like this in the Rottie world because I'm still learning, but in the Doberman world, if you're looking for 100% working Doberman, they're going to be ugly, they're going to be small, but their heart's going to be big as a lion.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if that is for the Rottie's world, but I know in the Dobie world, people they play on that word working. When you look at the pedigree, 3/4 is show, and not go. And is that like that in the Rottie world where the real 100% working, no confirmation show, are they smaller in stature?
Yes.
Or are they?
You are going to notice that they are good because they're working. They're going to be a bit smaller, not going to be as filled out, not as much substance, because let's be honest, these people are working these dogs nearly every single day. Keep large amount of substance. And let's just think about it. A Rottie that is, say it's 68 centimeters, which is the top of the breed standards, and it's 125 pounds. Could it work? Yeah. But do you think a Rottweiler that is around 66 centimeters and 100 pounds is going to be a little bit more agile and a little bit quicker on their feet? I look at it like players, you know, like the more agile guys that are also strong and powerful, they're normally a little bit smaller, and they're the ones that can move more agile. But when you look at them linemen, they can be big, strong, and powerful. They ain't just moving like that. You know what I'm saying?
They can't jump over that 6 feet wall if they're doing ring sport.
Hey, come on now.
Hey, you know, the breed standard says that the Rottweiler is a medium to large size stalwart breed, right? possessing great strength, agility, and endurance. Those are those three elements: strength, agility, and endurance. If you look at the different dog breeds, it's very difficult to have those three elements in one dog.
Yeah.
Very difficult. And that's why you got some people that, some of these dogs, if you come in a person's yard, they may run you out the yard, run you to the ditch, but they're not running your ass down the street.
They ain't chasing. Yeah. Yep.
They're going to tap out real quick.
Yeah, they're going to tap out quick.
What's the difference between Al Bundy? What's up, buddy? What's the difference between German and Serbian Rottweiler working lines? I noticed Serbian dogs are much bigger, and bigger isn't always better.
So at the end of the day, the difference between a Serbian and a German Rottweiler, a Serbian Rottweiler is born in Serbia. A German Rottweiler is born in Germany.
Yeah. All in Eastern Europe.
Come on. Now there is a difference. In Germany, with the ADRK, they have to breed. They have a breed warden, and they have to breed within their country. So a male that has a 100% German bitch, she's not going. They're not taking that dog to Serbia in breeding with any of those Serbian lines. They are Germany because that is their laws. Serbia, they have the ability to not only have the Serbian bloodlines, but to add in those German bloodlines as well. So they have more opportunity to broaden their bloodlines and use dogs to be able to create different and better things. Now, it's to say the Germans or Serbians are bigger. At the end of the day, they all are relatively around the same size whenever you see them in person. And I have purchased and owned a 100% German female that had her BH, IPO1, and her champion title. She was the same size of my Serbian import that had none of that. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's not necessarily the difference between German and Serbian. It's more so a difference in the bloodlines that they are using.
Right.
So Cavante said
makes sense.
Forte has Arkansas Rottweilers. So what did you who taught you and when it come to the show side, and how long have you been doing the show side? I hear you can really show.
So I'll when it comes down to who taught me, so I'm one of those, sometimes I got to go hit my head and a couple times, and that's really how I learn. So with my first show, dogs, I actually sent them to a trainer, and I actually sent them to be shown in AKC. The issue is at the time my dogs had tails, well, which they still have them, but in the AKC, they wasn't really fond of the tails. So I was pretty quick that, hey, I had a dog, Leo. At 5 months old, he went down and he went to a trainer, handler, was doing multiple AKC shows. They said he's the best dog here, but they can't get past his tail. He's always going to get second or third place. They're never going to put him up. So at that point, I'm like, well, I'm wasting time and money sending them.
Right.
So at that point, I decided, okay, let me go try to learn myself. So I started doing research. I started seeing what they were doing, and I started trying to prepare my dogs myself. My very first show that I actually showed my own dog was a few years ago. I showed Leo at a show in Nashville, Tennessee. I looked like a fool out there, complete fool, because I didn't truly understand what I was doing. But luckily, I had a few people that were willing to give me information, because once they seen that I was eager to learn, but they also saw that I was willing to put in the work. And so I had a buddy, Quinn Brunfield. He gave me a lot of helpful advice. My mentor, Monica, a lot of advice. And there's a very popular handler that's around the United States. His name is Jimmy. Jimmy, amazing handler, amazing trainer. There's not one time that I've gone to Jimmy and asked a question where he didn't tell me or give me information to help me. So I would say it's been a combination of a few people giving me information, trial and error. a lot of going out there and seeing what I did wrong and fixing it. Whenever I go train my dogs, even to this day, I'll record a couple of training sessions every single week. I'm a former football, basketball player. I'm all about film study. So if I'm out there recording what I'm doing, I can help fix my mistakes before I get to game time. You know,
right.
Like, big advocate of film and practice, because you can always learn from your mistakes if you're willing to learn and get better. And so that's another thing I did, is I just recorded my training consistently, and I didn't just record it for me. I'd record it, I'd send it to Quinn. I have another buddy, Mike, excellent handlers, giving me tips and advice. I'd send it to him, send it to K-Mac, Cavante. Hey, what am I doing wrong? What could I be doing better? I've sent it to Jimmy before. Hey, what could I adjust on my handling skills? My friend Lainey, she's a professional AKC and Seeger handler, gives me tips and advice as well. And I've just soaked it all up. I applied it, and every time I get out there to train or practice, I step out there with the mentality that, hey, I'm looking to get better at this, because I know I'm not perfect. And I know I always have room to grow as far as my skills and along with my knowledge.
What
Go
ahead. Okay. What are the biggest mistakes you see newbies make showing?
Not having their dog prepared.
Okay.
Right.
Not having the dog prepared. Because in my eyes, when it comes down to having a good show dog, there's three things, in my opinion. One, you got to have the dog. You got to have the dog that's good enough to do out there.
Right.
Number two, prepared. You have to be ready. A judge is going to be able to tell if your dog is not ready or not prepared. I've seen my first show that I mentioned in Tennessee. You know what really got me? The judge said out loud, handler needs more training.
Wow, yeah.
Handler needs more training. I could have got upset. I could have quit. I said, oh, no, you just threw gasoline on me. You just added fuel to the fire, because you let me know that my dog wasn't as good as it could have been because of me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's
right.
I did the same thing you did. This is like looking at them at a mirror, because I was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and I wanted to compete. This is before I had my last son. He's 10 now, and I was training for the BH, and I had it dialed in and everything, right? I was like, I'm gonna do this shit, because usually out here in California, man, you got to drive like an hour and a half, 2 hours for anybody to even have a field big enough to host a trial.
Right.
They don't do trials in parks over here. And I had them dialed in. I went there prepared. You know, I was like, fuck it, I don't need to read nothing. I know what I'm doing. I know the steps. I watched this shit on YouTube. You know, 24 steps here, put them in a couche, keep walking, bring them back, OPA and all this other. I was doing it, right? And I get there, and I didn't know you had to take a written test first.
Ooh.
Damn.
I flunked the test, and if you flunk the written test, you can't go on to the next phase.
You don't touch the field.
Right. So I didn't do my research enough to figure out because in the IGP world, you have to take the written test first to know the rules and the steps, right? I didn't do that. So I prepared all these months, and I got there and I was unprepared. And so we think we know what we're doing, but there's always a better way to do it. And these judges will call a motherfucker out. They will say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know?
Doing good or bad. They will say, a recent show, they were like, it's obvious that this dog is referring to my dog Clyde. This dog is ready. This dog is prepared. But they will also say it on the other end, like they've done to me before. Hey, brother, you and the dog need work. So I get it.
Hey, let me, you know, what I always try to tell people is, you know, go to the show. If it's something you want to do, go to the show a couple times. the first time I went to Texas. That's when Leo took first place and won Youth Seekers. I went to the show, and my whole idea was to get close to the judge, listen to the judge, to the critique of the judge, and look at the dog so that I could pick up the language and get the idea of what the judge is looking for. Mm-hmm. And then the second time I went to the show, I went to watch the handlers. I want to see how they are handling the dogs. And then the third time, I was able to get in the ring and at least place a dog. Not saying, you're getting in the ring the first time, you're going to, even if you got the right dog, that you're going to make first place, but take your time and walk in and get that experience and quit listening to what people say when people say, because you hear people who have never been to the show, they'll say it's political.
Yeah. And
I'm saying it can't be political if I don't know anybody and I go twice and get first place, best male puppy, Youth Seekers. Yeah. So you got to kind of quit listening to what people are saying who have never been to the show. Go to the show for yourself and get that experience.
Here in Arkansas, because whenever I got going to doing shows and going and competing, there wasn't anyone else here that was going to these same shows from Arkansas. Right. That was competing, that was putting their best foot out. So whenever I was doing it, people were looking at it almost like, oh, you think you're better than us because you go show your dogs. No, I want to go see what my dog can do.
Right.
I don't want one of these people on social media every day saying, oh, I got the best this, I got top this, top that, when nothing.
Yeah. Right.
What are they looking at? I've never been to a confirmation show, but in a Rottweiler confirmation show, what are the key points and the key things that the judges are looking for that can get you to be first or second place? What are the things they're looking for?
Brother, they looking at your dog from toe to tail.
Everything.
Nose to tail, toe to tail, tip of the nose to tail. There's so many different things because there's essentially a breed. We do have a breed standard, and there's also a list of faults. There's also a list of disqualifying faults, right? So your dog can get knocked because it's like you mentioned, the temperature, the smush, your nose is too smushed in. You don't have the proper head proportions. Your dog can get knocked because its mouth pigment is not the color it needs to be. It's too light. You mentioned eyes are. Sorry, do I still got y'all?
Yeah. About the eyes. About the eyes.
Because let's be honest, if your dog has correct structure, your dog should move correctly. So if your dog is moving correctly, that yes sir, that eye chart. That if your dog isn't moving correctly, that lets us know that there is either the dog is hurt or there's something structurally wrong with the dog that is not allowing it to perform the way that it needs to, because we can't forget that granted we are in a Seeger show, it's a working breed, and the Seeger shows are going to put your dog to the test. That's where it differs from AKC, because you could see a Rottweiler in an AKC show and the dog don't even start panting because they ain't done nothing to really work it. They in a nice air conditioned building, they only ran half a circle. And you go to a Seeger show, you see these dogs outside and heated 100 degrees. And you see this judge making this dog and this handler run 5 to 10 laps.
Right. That's true. That's true. And it could be something as small as, I've seen in cases where a judge is looking at 2 dogs and he's trying to see which one is going to get first place, which one is going to get second place. And they may have you run those laps to see, is that top line going to remain stable or is it going to fall after a few laps? And that's a big difference, as to whether you're going to get first place or second place.
Because we're a working breed, and with the working breed, physically and mentally, they should be able to withstand it.
Right. So
if your dog breaks down first physically or mentally, that can obviously affect its placements.
Right. Absolutely.
And of course, absolutely, Mac. There's some judges that they're big on pigment. If your dog's got pink gums, they ain't even got a chance that they show, because a lot of times judges are breeders, and so hey, even if I'm breeding this, if my dog's got this, it can't stay here. Well, they're going to use essentially that same mindset when they're judging too. As long as things fit within the standard, there's going to be what we call non-negotiables for certain judges. to where if there's certain flaws or faults that they're automatically gonna move you to the side. So yeah, you're definitely right with that, Mac. That there's certain things that certain judges like more than they do or don't others.
Right.
There go our boy Jordan. Exotic Borbal's in the house.
All right. What's up, Jordan?
Yeah.
He said he wants to see the dog sweat.
Yeah.
You want to see that mouth open and that tongue to the side.
Hey, so let me ask you this, and I've heard about this in some of the Rotties. How do they tell if a dog has a overbite, whether the teeth are not scissoring properly?
Teeth are not properly in a scissor. You just got to open the mouth up and look. You literally, all you're doing, me personally, because we at a Seeger show, that's the first thing they see is your dog's mouth. If your bite is bad or it's off or it's missing teeth, the judge does not even judge your dog. It disqualifies your dog.
Right. Absolutely.
That's the first thing. We simply walk up, open that mouth. I grab the collar with a couple of my fingers, hold it, mouth, open up that scissor bite. If your dog is properly prepared, it will allow you to do that, no problem asked.
Right.
If you see that this bite has too much space, or if it is well under, you can go ahead and cancel your day because it's over with for that dog.
Mm-hmm.
And another beautiful thing I like about the shows is I have really, really had a really beautiful experience at the shows because there's always somebody there to do two things, to give you encouragement and to help you.
Yes.
And I've seen it numerous of times, no matter what state you go in, what club, if it's a secret show, there's always somebody there to help you. It is at the judge's discretion, the discretion, whether he want to allow somebody else to help you show teeth or not.
Yep.
So I've seen people hop in the ring and show teeth for people with strange dogs that they've never seen before. Open the mouth, show the scissor bite, the P1s, all of the mouth.
Yep.
So
and then for our club, I'm a co-founder of TARP, which is the Texas Arkansas Rottweiler Club. I'm the ring steward at our shows. Some judges will allow the ring steward to step over and show the bite. Again, it's a dog that's completely unfamiliar with you, just a random dog going and opening up its mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I do allow, like Jihad said, judges that allow others to help one another. Because at the end of the day, we want to find who's the best dog. Sometimes people just don't have the knowledge that they need to properly prepare their dog. And this is, like me, at my first show, a learning experience. But we want to make sure that that's a positive learning experience. So they want to continue to come back. Because the more that they're coming back, the more attendance we're going to have the show, the more awareness, and we can continue to make this grow. And in recent years, we have definitely grown. We hosted the first Seeger show ever in the state of Arkansas in February with our club.
Nice.
And tons of people from Arkansas and all over the country coming. And from people seeing what we're doing and, having a good experience, they want to come back. They want to continue to go support these clubs. And when you're supporting these clubs at shows, you're supporting our breed. And at the end of the day, that's what we should be here for, is to better and improve and support our breed and one another.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know we're competing. Of course we're competing. But we're common cause, and that's to empower and better our breed.
What part of Arkansas are you in?
Me, I'm in Central Arkansas. It's BB, Arkansas.
Okay. All I know is West Memphis, Arkansas.
Wait, brother. Wait, you got to.
A Little Rock, okay. and Pine Bluff. Yeah.
Stank City's in the house out here. Yeah, that's where Jihad is at. I'm from Little Rock.
Yeah, I went to Jackson State, and so we used to take a little trip to was it Little Rock? No, Pine Bluff.
UAPB.
UAPB. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a good time there.
I bet you did.
Nukes had a good time. Whew. I ain't got no kids there, do I?
Man, I heard Joe Jackson got family down there in Pine Bluff. The Jackson family. You ever heard that, Jihad? Oh, okay.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Let me ask something about a breeder's question. What when you looking at those puppies you gonna keep, Brother Forte? What are the biggest factors where you disqualifying that dog from going into your breeding and show program versus and this is a two-pronged question. And what's the difference between pet quality and show quality?
So me personally, if I come in there and I drop a pan of food on the ground, if you running away or you shot in the corner, you ain't staying here with me. I'm just being honest.
Right. That's one of the, yeah.
Oh, and I'm going crazy with this flirt pole, and you ain't trying to chase it and bite nothing.
Gotta go.
You gotta go. If I sit in that welcome bite and you ain't trying to bite my ankles, you're gonna probably hit the exit because I need a dog that has drive, not only drive but confidence, because that is what a Rottweiler is. Whenever I present one at a show, I want one that has good drive, good focus, good attentiveness, and excellent confidence as well.
See, that's coming from that's coming from, I'm talking in third person to Anthony. That's coming from a person who is a breeder that knows what quality breeding is, so that when he does have a dog that he keeps, it is a conference, all of the characteristics. Whether the person wants the dog that's confident, whether the person wants a dog that can work, but at least we have those intangibles where it's here for the making. Because I have another horror story. I got plenty of them in this game. I tell people all the time, I made all the goddamn mistakes so you guys don't have to.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And so I bought a female Doberman from this breeder in Arizona. It's called King of Arizona. It's what the name just got me. And I'm like, damn. And then I asked the lady, I said, what's the bloodline? She said, I don't know, but it's European. I'll give it to you. So I got bamboozled twice with this woman. So when I asked her, are they AKC? She said, yeah, they're AKCs. I said, I get AKC papers. She said, I get AKC papers. I was like, okay. And I'm just, dude, I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, this sounds good. 2,500. I can do this, right? And I go on this website called UShip, the letter U, the word ship. And they ship cars, dogs. If you want a dog shipped from one state to another, a couple $100, a guy who's already headed that way is going to pick the dog up and take it to the destination. So she showed me a picture of this nice big female. Now, I like females that look heavy. I like females that look like males, because a lot of the puppies going to look like the mama anyway, right? So I you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I like
help with type and substance.
Yeah.
They're going to take after the mama more.
Right.
Who stood.
Right. So I like females that look like males. Like you can put two balls on them, like, boom, that's a male. She had one, right? and she showed me a picture of him. She was sitting in a corner in a sit position. I was like, damn, that's a nice. I said, why is she the only one there? She said, oh, she was going to be a part of the breeding program. I said, okay, that makes sense. And she was the biggest female in the litter, allegedly. I said, that's cool. Again, I'm giving you the visual. She's sitting in the corner in her kennel, not in the middle of the corner, not in the front towards the gate, but in the corner. I'm not picking up on this shit, right?
Right.
So I send the money. I get the dog. Dog's cool, but she's skittish as fuck. I'm like, this dog hasn't been beaten. I'm like, why is she skittish? No, dude, I spent thousands of dollars trying to break that. I realized you can't break that. That's
right.
I'm like, so my trainer, another trainer, he got me for $8,000 almost over a month. I'm like, I can't even drop a damn bottle on the floor without her jumping. And then I get the AKC papers about 3 weeks later, right? It says AKC. I'm like, I got one right. Everybody. And it's pink looking. I'm like, what is pink looking shit for? It's limited AKC.
Limited,
right?
Not full. So I got duped twice. I got rid of that dog. Like, listen, There's a Doberman rescue out here called Google it, people. Sun Valley Doberman Rescue. One late night before Christmas, I took that dog and I tied that dog up to that goddamn tree at that building, and I left, man. I'm like, fuck it. Somebody got a better purpose than me. But hey, at least I'm just telling you, at least the rescue is gonna find her a better home, because some people may want a dog they gotta put through therapy the rest of her life. I ain't got that kind of time. I got an autistic cousin who's gonna need us for the rest of his life. I ain't got time to be giving no dog no goddamn therapy.
No, sir. And I was doing a couple years ago with us. Steve Wolf. He said something that stuck with me ever since.
Boy.
He said, if you get a metal pan, right? A metal pail, metal trash can, you can put fire out in that metal trash can, but you can't build one without something in it. So I would rather have a dog that I gotta calm down and get you back than build you up.
Right.
If I'm having to build you up. I'm having to put too much time, work, effort.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it.
Right.
Oh, sorry. Hey, y'all, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Python Don Dogo Argentino. Dogo, how you doing, brother? With our breeds having a higher chance of being aloof or even man aggressive, do you all have any stories we can learn from about buying important adults that were hotter than expected? John Mills, hey, I hope you watching, because I want you to answer this question. This man, he was worried about me. I went and picked up a dog that he was kind of thinking might have been hot from overseas the other day. He was checking on me through the whole process, but I didn't have any problem. But he gave me some hell of a tips. I'll let him tell him. But anyway, you go ahead, Brother Forte.
No, when dealing with that, man, at the end of the day, like I said before, you got to know what you're getting. You got to trust who you're getting it from.
Right.
Like I've had adult females that was on fire, on fire. Like I can't even let them out with my males because they ready to get down. They ready to work. They ready to do something. But at the end of the day, whenever I got them, I didn't know they were gonna be that hot.
Right.
Having to send them to someone that wanted a dog that hot, because it just wasn't for me. So from my experiences, you got to ask all the right questions. You got to get all the right information, and you have to have a relationship with that person that you're getting a dog from, that you know that they are sending you. They're telling you they are sending you.
But you know, also though, like I got one right now. He's 16 months old, and I didn't know he was gonna be fucking fire as shit. And I'm talking about Adobe. The problem is, it's not the dog being, because I'd rather have a dog that has a super high prey drive than a dog that I have to build his prey drive, because you can control.
Right.
So it may be that he needs to get with a trainer, because trainers really are training you, right? How to handle the dog. Maybe he needs to get a better trainer to show him how he can control that, because having a loaded gun is great when you know the safety mechanism. You know what I'm saying?
How to use it.
Yeah, dude. All the hardcore trainers that I deal with here in Compton and Watts and Gardena, the street protection trainers, they say them dogs have to come with heart and courage and drive, because everything else they can fix that. They can tweak the dog aggression. They can tweak the how to release off a bite when they tell you to. They can tweak those, but the dog got to have it in him. He got to have that dog in him. Right. So it's probably him. Not saying it's a bad thing, but he's probably every dog is different. So he may need to get a trainer that knows how to work with this breed, because that Dawg Argento, some serious fucking dogs.
Yeah.
No, especially when you're getting the ones that are not watered down. They come with the thunder. So maybe he needs to get with a trainer how to control the aggression, and you may want to think about e-collar training. You know, I mean, shit, mine's respond well with that. You know, but some of those guys, when you put the pressure on them, you put the prong on them, the drive goes up, or they may load up on your ass. So you got to know your dog.
Right.
Yes.
I had a dog load up on me. I'm I'm like, why? I'm correcting his ass, and then he started stiffening up at me. I'm like, why is he stiffening up? Motherfucker, I said, couche. Put you back up. He come out of position. I take him back to position. I banged him a couple of times with the prong. I said, couche. That means down. I talked to all my dogs in French. And I turn back around, walk 10 paces. He coming right behind me again. I said, fuck this. We got to correct him right now. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm hitting him, boom, boom, with the correction. Motherfucker stiffed up. Next thing I know, I saw this coming at me. Boom. If I didn't have on a hoodie, oh, he would have went to the white meat. He would have went to the white meat. So you got to know the dog's breaking point. You don't want to break him, but
Right.
you want to let him know that he got to know what's correct. So maybe he needs a better trainer.
Yeah.
Who knows? But having a high prey dog coming over here, it ain't a bad thing.
No,
Right.
no.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is like, what time? When are you doing that? Are you doing that straight time you get the dog? Because I got a female Corso. It took me a while. I didn't even touch her. I went in there, I fed, gave her water, sprayed down. I never made eye contact with her for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I let her come to me and start dealing with me. Now she good.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's our pace and our relationship with the dog. You can't always be in a rush to take a dog too fast in any direction.
Mm-hmm.
Be patient, learn the dog, slowly develop a relationship with the dog, then gradually and strategically move the dog to where you need it to be.
Bonding is bonding. When you're importing a dog, bonding
Number one.
is number one, dog.
Mhm.
I'm not buying a dog and then sending them off to a trainer in 3 weeks. No. I'm going to bond with the dog so tight that this motherfucker whines when I leave. He wants to be wherever I go.
Yeah.
And honestly, some of these dogs have never seen black people.
Oh, facts.
You bring them across, they've never seen no black person.
Hey, he ain't lying. I had hey, she cool with everybody until she see me. And she's aggressive, but if I walk around the corner and she don't see me coming and she pop up and see me, she bark a little bit at me, then she cool. But she was like that when I got her. I was like,
Yeah.
But everybody else that's a little bit lighter skinned than me,
Right.
she
I
cool.
know I hear with a lot of the PDs 20, 30 years ago, there was a thing that we thought these dogs were racist. and my God, I mean, think about it. So I'm gonna give you the science behind it. So most of the decoys they would hire what color? Black or Hispanic. So that's all they knew when they saw black folks. Oh, it's time to get down. Because there was no white boy decoys in LA,
Right.
They the one that they're the handlers.
Right.
They're not the decoys. So dogs can be taught like, motherfucker, if you look like Wesley Snipes, I'm taking this one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's all about the familiarity of the type of decoys that is, that's why I love it when I see female decoys. That's balls, you know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna get hurt as a decoy. You're gonna get something's gonna
break, leash gonna break.
Yeah. So hands off.
For a Rottweiler. That's a long day right there, boy.
Oh my God.
That is a long day. No, sir.
Yeah. Let me get one in here. Are these protection trained Rottweilers cool with welcome company, or they want to bite everyone? I guess that varies, huh?
If they're well trained and prepared and they have a sound mindset, and I imported a IGP-1 female.
He'll be back. There you go.
Oh, sorry. Y'all miss me.
Are you using Hughes?
Go ahead.
Are you using Hughes net, man? What are you using?
Excellent internet. It's
a Cox cable? What the hell, man?
all the bars over here. I don't know what's going on, but I just feel like it depends on the dog and the training that the dog went and the environment that the dog was raised. All those play a part in how a dog's going to respond to different type of stress.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you got different things. Like I was training with Cecil. He got a new guy that's from LA that's out there training with him. He's trained in the islands. And he brought his dog, Drogo, who is a sumo son. Man, I wouldn't dare touch that dog. I looked up. I wasn't paying attention. I looked up. My dog was rubbing the dog back. I said, "Hey, come over here." But the dog is really good with children. He has discretion. He's know when he's dealing with a child versus another dog.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, though, they're still animals. People
Yeah,
need to know that, right? And I've always been a firm believer that protection training is really obedience training.
Yes.
Because you're teaching the dog how to identify a threat and what's
Right.
not a threat.
Right.
You learn how to. You're teaching a dog how to control his compulsions. You know, I tell this
Right.
story all the time, man, and I don't know if I told you, Joe, but it's like when I used to live in Inglewood, I lived in a gated community, right, where the houses are like fucking like 3 feet from each other, right, and you wouldn't have any guests to come in unless they went through security, right? So you're never going to expect nobody except, you know, Uber if you let them in. So, and this happened because, you know, if your dog get out that yard, which they will get out,
Right.
is will they respond, right? So I usually take my Dobie from the backyard through the house through the front door. No big deal. Do this shit every day. This particular day, I didn't have the leash on yet because he's trained. He know to go into a sit position before I open the door. Boom, boom, boom. I had the leash on my shoulder. As I was walking out, guess who was walking to the front door? The fucking postman. And it was a black postman. And what we learned, what we taught to do when we see dogs, run.
Right.
Man, Alonzo went right after him. And, you know, first of all, dogs got 4 legs. We got 2. So trust me, the traction, he going to catch up with you no matter what.
Right.
And as he was running around to that truck, because I think the driver door is on another side, and you know how to post driving mobile, the doors are all fucked up on a different side or whatever. Anyway,
Right.
and as Alonzo was finna grab his calf, now I would have lost everything because my insurance don't know I got a Doberman. If my homeowner's insurance knew I had a Doberman, trust me, would have been canceled a long time ago. Right? And as soon as he was about to have a live bite, I said, Alonzo, couche. Motherfucker went into a down position. In pursuit. If he was not trained in protection training, he would have had tunnel vision and he wouldn't have listened to me.
Yep.
I would have lost everything. I had to do a Hulk Hogan. I would have to fucking bankrupt, protect my shit because my son went out there and killed somebody in my car, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
training or protection training people is not really turning that proverbial switch on. What it's doing is teaching you how to turn it on and turn it off.
Right.
Right.
Right. That's true.
Jeffy used to tell us that protection training is the highest form of obedience manifested. That's how he would tell us. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm a firm, and the problem with dog owners is that they think they can go to Petco or PetSmart and get the little puppy certificate when the dog's 10, 12 weeks old because he gets along with other puppies on a leash.
Right.
You're not going to get no kind of training for $800, and that dog's going to respond to you when you need him to respond.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to teach you, you know, while the dog's eating food, pick the bowl up so he'll get desensitized. If the dog wants going after the ball, you get the ball out of his mouth so he'll be desensitized. They're not doing that because an 8-year-old kid go by there and pick up a bowl in front of the dog. He ain't trained. He gonna bite the kid's hand.
Right.
See, so training, man, is to me, obedience is accomplishing everything. Everything. Because you got to be able to control. Listen, most dogs, when they get in that tunnel vision, either they're going to listen to you or they're not going to listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, and when we dealing with Rotties and these big head dogs, we talking about thousands of pounds of pressure. We talking about shit that you're going to need plastic surgery to put some shit back. This ain't no Malinois where we're getting flesh wounds and scars and a few stitches. No, we going deep to the fucking bone.
Yeah.
And
I look at what you said is, I heard an analogy a while back is Whenever we're in crunch time, we don't rise to the occasion. We seek to our training.
Yes.
Right.
Whenever you were in that situation with your dog, you was in the moment, but he didn't rise, he sank to his training. And because you instilled such a great foundation in that dog with this training, you was good.
Man.
You don't have to expect him to do anything extraordinary. Just do what we've been practicing. Just do what we've been training to do. You know,
everybody's dog has, if you got more than 3 dogs, somebody's gotten out of the fucking yard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And
absolutely.
If you got neighbors, oh my God, it's a scary thing for them. You know what I mean?
Especially because people see a Rottweiler walking down the street or in the neighborhood, they instantly a Roddy, a Cane Corso, a Doberman. Any of them.
They calling you.
They calling you.
Yeah.
They calling anybody they can.
Right.
That's why I think it's important too. I know we don't want to over familiarize our dogs with having our dog think that everybody's a friend, but I definitely like to have my neighbors, my close proximity neighbors, to be familiar with my animals, because when my dog, I had a wooden fence, the same dog, and one of the wooden panels came off, and so the dog was able to get through the goddamn fence. And my neighbor said, "Hey, your Doberman's loose." And I'm like an hour and a half away, even though it's 30-minute drive. LA traffic makes that shit 2 hours. I was like this the whole time. And the lady called and said, "Hey, listen, I put Alonzo back up. I chained him to his kennel. You good?" Dude, had he been all go and no, if he was all gas and no brakes, I'd have been fucked.
Right.
Somebody would have got towed up.
Yeah.
Right. You're right. You're absolutely right. My wife had to get mine and put 2 of mine in the mail truck. Bring them home.
This is a good question that Javier wrote.
So does high drive trait pass at a higher rate to pups versus low drive, or vice versa?
I can say if you're getting a high prey drive male breed to a high prey drive female, there's an 85% chance that them motherfuckers gonna come with some drive.
Yeah.
Right. But if you want to get the balance, you want to do a high prey drive dog with a low prey drive dog, and then you have to figure out which one is going to have the characteristics you want. But yeah, listen, that high prey drive shit is a genetic trait. You can't make that shit. You can't make a dog what he's not.
Yeah.
Right. You put 2 fires together, oh, it's cracking.
Yeah. And then my mentors would always tell me, if you want to keep something, you gotta breed to the highest form of the intensity. So
if you keep it, that's right.
Yeah, they won't dilute, you know. What in my opinion, if I put say I got a hot female and I got a medium drive male, I will get a mix. I will even get some that's kind of like real slow down, real pet quality home, like this, but he like to lay around. But I think it's best personally now, if you got a mama killer and a data killer, you're gonna make some baby killers, but I'm talking about just drive.
Yeah.
High drive, I will keep it high, because there's still gonna be some pups fall through that ain't gonna always meet that standard.
You always want to keep your stock on what your signature breeding is. If your breeding is known for having high prey drive quality dogs with good structure, then you can breed down anything, right? Because not everybody wants that high prey drive shit.
Right.
But at least you still have the standard that in case somebody wants something super hot, then the next thing you breed to that's hot, that you can almost guarantee and say, hey, you know, depending on the training, he's going to be what you need him to be.
Yeah.
Let me say this, Joe, because Pump 17 has a
I was
question.
I was gonna put that in there. He said, is that the one you was talking about?
Yes, Pump 17.
Yeah.
So let me say this about the bloodlines, that there are bloodlines that people like, there are bloodlines that people do not like for specific reasons. There are certain bloodlines that I don't like. If they're bred, if they're doing an outcrossing, they're bred properly, they can produce some dogs that don't have the challenges that you see. The breed that you're talking about, let me just be honest. when I first looked at that, not breed, but bloodline, when I looked at the dogs that I looked at in that bloodline originally, I saw a bunch of overbites. I saw the kink tail. Now, there are some dogs that have that in their pedigree that don't have those defects, okay? But I think what some people are trying to do is they're trying to breed extreme dogs with very oversized dogs, big heads, and you're running into those problems. If you're taking a dog that's muzzle is too short and you're breeding it to another dog that's muzzle is too short, then what you're going to get is you only have so much space in that jawline for those 42 teeth to fit. So you won't be able to get those 42 teeth in there. You start missing P1s, you start having nasal issues, and you start having bad bites. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why we say, Forte alluded to, everybody said it, every dog, irregardless to the bloodline, must be looked at and judged on its own merits. Mm-hmm. Okay? Yeah. Even with the bloodline, on its own merits, the dog needs to be looked at if you're going to do something with it, whether it's breeding or whether it's bite work. The dog must be looked at and evaluated on its own merit, not just based upon the bloodline.
Who came up with this Timitor look, man?
And I'll add to this when he's talking about good for working purposes. At the end of the day, in order for a dog to be able to work properly, it has to have the right anatomy, right? If a dog has a muzzle that is too short, like a French bulldog, not quite that short, but they typically can develop what they call an elongated soft palate. And that's going to affect the dog's ability to be able to cool its body down after it's been working.
Right.
So with these Timitor dogs, their muzzle is so short, not only are they having difficulty breathing, if they have this elongated soft palate, they can't cool their bodies down the way that they need to. Along with that, if their muzzle is too short, and like Jihad mentioned, there's not very much room in their mouth, how can they do a correct full bite? If that is what you say working purposes. If a dog's muzzle is too short, it ain't gonna be able to bite much. You ever seen a Frenchie bite a bite sleeve?
Right.
It's not able to really get a good grip because its muzzle is too short.
Right.
And he's mentioning the Timitor bloodlines, one of the things that we've seen is not only the size of them being a little too big to be able to truly work as far as having the endurance, but the muzzle being too short, meaning one, it's going to affect its its respiratory system, like not able to breathe properly, and the efficiency.
Right.
And I tell you something, man, that irritates me when you talk to people, just, you talk to different breeders and stuff. They use the words, well, he'll fix it. Knowing that this one dog you using is all the way off, just total different head type, and you got the correct one, but you're going to depend on him fixing it.
And
I don't get it.
Don't work like that.
It don't work like that, no.
Multiple generations to fix things like that, especially whenever it comes to anatomy and structural issues. Right. Especially when you're talking about a muzzle that short. Now, will you get some in the litter like that? Of course. Mm-hmm. But as far as you fixing it, when I think of fixing, I mean correcting it all. Mm-hmm. I don't see it working like that, especially when we're talking about the muzzle length, which is such a big part of what's going on with our breed now.
Have those Timitors, that Timitor look, have they been winning shows?
Depends on who you're dealing with, but some of the judges overseas are rewarding some of those looks. But also one thing I've noticed is when you look at what those judges are breeding, they're breeding some of the dogs that have that look. And a lot of times they're doing it because of the market. They can sell more. People are paying more for the bigger dog with the bigger head and the shorter muzzle, and the new look. So I can say that there are some dogs that have that more, as they call it, extreme look that are being rewarded, but there's dogs that are doing that. And a lot of people that see it going on with those judges, they're not taking their dogs to present to them.
Right.
Is one of the issues though overseas is some of the judges are rewarding it. So because they're getting rewarded with it, they think, oh, it's okay. Even though our breed standards.
Man, It's interesting because it's so much information to absorb, but when you into it like I am, it all makes sense. And the Timitora look, I never thought it was an attractive looking Roddy, right? That's why I never went for it. But when you think about the anatomy aspect of it and just the complete package of it, it makes it difficult. I haven't seen too many Rottweilers or Timitora looks that are in a protection sport, whether it's ring sport, PSA, or IGP, Mondial. I haven't seen these motherfuckers in there.
They can't, because they can't do it. Can't do it. I would like to see them in there just to see how they do. And no disrespect to the dogs or the breeders, but I just, when we're, like you said, when we're talking about anatomy, how? It'd be like me going to get a English bulldog and trying to work him.
Right.
He ain't gonna get too far.
Right. Hey, let me slide something in. I'm sorry. Who was that? Al Bundy. He want to know about how do y'all feel about people petting your dog, letting people pet on your dog?
Know your dog. Plain and simple. Know your dog. Some dogs, yeah, go on and pet them. Some dogs, hey, this ain't the petting type of dog. Some dogs are a little more hot than others. Some dogs don't. Let's be honest. We're humans. Some dogs just don't like folks.
Right.
They just like their people, their owner. And that's when it comes down to you as the owner knowing your dog.
And also knowing what you got the dog for. Like I just got an importing in 3 weeks ago. He's a multi-champion out in 2 different countries. And when I first got him, I was somewhat disappointed because of his reaction to me. But he warmed up in about a week, and I just started taking him to stores. He's doing real good. But I don't have him as a person protection dog. I'm not going to do any person protection work with him. So that's another thing. You got to be mindful when you get a dog, what you're getting a dog for, and what the limits are. There's some dogs I would not take to Lowe's, Tractor Supply, different places. And if I'm taking dogs to the park around a bunch of children, like they had National Night Out last night, and they're going to be interacting with a bunch of children, I know what dog to take and what dog not to take.
That's right. Yeah, I got a Central Asian Shepherd that she's very same-sex aggressive. Very. You ain't coming in that backyard if you ain't a part of this family. She'll bite your ass up out of there. And I noticed too, I quit, like you said, you mentioned kids, all kids don't need to be around dogs. I remember some neighbor kid came down and I had her out. And she was younger then. And I saw them dogs petting on that dog. And I could just look at her and tell she was just like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I said, I'm gonna keep that dog away from people.
Yep.
You know what I do? I'm a part of this club, this training club, been for years. And one of the key essential things they teach, us, because I don't know how many people watching this, but we got a lot of granola, plain yogurt eating motherfuckers out there that think that every dog's gonna be loving people, right? Oh my God, can I pet your dog? And like, dude. And so what I do when I go to places in public with them, like Home Depot, or whatever, just to keep them familiarized with sounds and people. Right. Hey, can I pet your dog? I give some of that dehydrated liver treats that they get from Costco, and I give it to them. I say, you can give my dog a treat. That's how you're gonna greet my dog. But you sticking your hand on his head and you ain't no vet, and I'm not there to comfort him like that. Unpredictable. Unpredictable. I mean, that shit right there, man. It bothers the hell out of me when people pet my dog without asking, or they just reach out. Kids, I get reaching because kids don't know no better, right?
Yeah.
But I try not to put myself in a position where that's gonna happen.
Right.
So at the end of the day, can people pet my dog? Yeah, they gotta ask me, can I pet your dog?
Yeah.
And then I'm not gonna be taking them. He ain't going to Kroger's grocery store with me. Right. We're not going to I don't do dog parks anyway.
Right.
You know, so it's going to be very rare. When people want to pet my dog, they usually own my property and they see my boy. I say, yeah, hey, give him a treat. And I said, it's okay. I told him, I said, it's okay. I let my boy know it's okay. And he knows, like, if daddy says okay, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's just liabilities waiting to happen, man.
Right.
When you going these public ass places and you got these granola plain yogurt people like, oh my God, a dog. I rescued a pit bull just 2 months ago. He's 3 years old. It's the reason why that motherfucker was put in the no, you know, because the kennels don't tell you. The pound don't tell you why the dog's returned.
Right. Make it plain.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm like, yo, you gotta listen. First of all, pits do not roll in packs. They're a solo dog. There's a reason why so many pits are rescued here. I'm like, listen, take your dog off the fucking harness, put a prong or put a choker on him. You ain't gonna control the dog while he's on a harness.
Right.
As for pulling, and it's mind-boggling, man, that I get all these gigabyte games. Well, you got the prong on him, and you're hurting the dog. I said, no, listen. It's your people who invented this tool, and your people still use these tools on corrections and obedience modification. But I'm not. When my boy get harnesses on, it's time to do bite work.
Yeah,
it's like a damn cape to them.
Right.
They can't even sit still when they know that harness for to go on. But people are walking around with big ass dogs with harnesses. The dog is pulling you. You're not.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't have
bananas, man.
You don't have control.
No.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, people need to know this because I had a lady at the park. I took my dog to the park in the event, and somebody had a ball. They were just playing with this ball, and he was height. I'm talking about he was at a 10. And she wanted to bring her little 5-year-old son to pet him. And I'm leaving. She ran me out the park. I'm leaving. She's constantly following behind me. No, let him pet him. Let him pet him. And I'm trying to get the hell out of here. Like, man, this ain't it. I had another guy. He had a Dobie. He want to bring his dog over there to play with my dog.
Yeah.
I mean, where do they get these ideas from?
I don't know why they think they take them. You got a bunch of wild dogs. You throwing a ball. My boy's gonna go after the ball, and he's gonna kill who's trying to get the ball from him.
Right.
I'm like, this is not making sense here. It's like people, you got your little beagles and your Labrador retrievers, and dude, and they're all chasing for this one ball.
Right.
Are you kidding me? Rottweilers kill other dogs, man.
Right.
And how you gonna break that up? You better bring a cattle prod.
Right.
Yeah. See, and I got a 10-year-old and 6-year-old, and I had to tell their ass, being that they grow up around these big ass dogs, they'll walk up on any dog. I said, man, y'all can't be doing that, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah. So, hey guys, it's going in on about 2 hours on a weekday.
So we only got 2 more hours, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, let me ask you this, brother. If people want to reach out to you, Brother Forte, how do they get to you?
Man, they can reach out to me on Facebook. I have a kennel page. It's Rottweilers vom Haus Forte on Facebook, or you can just type in my name, Anthony Forte. I'm also on Instagram at _vom_house_Forte. They can reach me on Instagram as well. Pretty much anything where you type in Rotties or Rottweilers vom Haus Forte, I'm gonna pop up.
I just sent you a request.
Yes, sir.
I'm on top of this.
Yeah.
I like this brother right here, man.
Yeah, Gerald, hey, what?
Right.
Hey, I know with he was talking to me about doing some shows and stuff. Hey, one thing about him and Jordan, you're gonna get big energy. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're gonna get big energy. You know what I'm saying? So,
Transfer one person to the next. If you got good positive energy, and it's nothing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? For me, it's like, okay, so Anthony, when you accept my friend's request, you'll see that I used to bodybuild up until just last year. I know I don't look like it right now, but
about 3-4 years ago. See, I'm a personal trainer and fitness nutrition.
So
All that
so
stuff.
so it comes full circle. So when I was prepping, right? Because that's the hard part. Eating the same shit every day, doing the same workout. Everything suffers. Relationships, families, dogs, that shit is second.
Yeah.
Training is first because you got a deadline and you got to be coming in peeled, right?
Yeah.
You can't take a knife to a gunfight. And so when I was prepping and shit, I'm showing how I do the food and how I buy my food all prepped up, macros, everything dialed in. And then they say, "Hey, I want to do what you do, but I don't want to compete, but I want to get in better shape." I get excited. Like, wow, you really want to do this, improve yourself?
Man.
I'm like, I'm all in. Like, let's talk about it. And then 2 weeks later, they said, "Man, I went to my cousin's wife, friend, sister, brother's birthday party and went all in with cake and okay." So when I talk about dogs, man, it's like, dude, I'm all the fuck in. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a hobby that I make a little bit of money, but I never got into it for the money. It was never my passion to make money on. It just so happened that I'm making a little bit, but I'm not paying my mortgage with it. But I'm just saying, it's like it's when I get around people who are just as passionate about what I love, which is this breed, this canine species, I'm dialed in. Like, yo.
Right.
Well, you could tell by the chat we doing something right because there's some heavy hitters in here. It's good to see Mr. Alexander Gunter of Von Gunter Haus in here. I done did some tremendous interviews with him. Right. If anybody want to learn how to breed, I think the third part is coming out Friday. So good stuff, man. Yeah. Any closing remarks, benediction from you gentlemen?
Appreciate y'all guys reaching out to me, allowing me the opportunity to come on here and talk about something that I'm truly passionate about. I have a lot of love and I feel like we can all grow together and within the Rottweiler breed and all of our various breeds, as long as we're willing to help each other, give out helpful information, put the work in. And biggest part, putting the work in.
I have a question. One last question for Forte.
Yes.
So Forte, we have Tark in Arkansas, Texas, Arkansas Rottweiler Club.
Yes.
Can you tell the listening audience that are in Arkansas and Texas how they can join, what the expectations is, some of the benefits of being a part of Tark?
Absolutely. You can always reach out to myself, Anthony Forte, Cavante McPeters, or a friend of mine, Tony Hall. We'll give you any information that you need about our club. And our goal with our club is to build the breed within the state and outside of the state and give people an opportunity in Arkansas and Texas and surrounding states to be able to compete on a national and international level with our Rottweilers, not only just showing and confirmation, but you can do standard evaluations. Some of our shows are offering trials across the United States. So you can trial your dogs as well if you're looking to do any kind of IPO, IGP, or even ZTPs. Our goal is to also educate. I often have meetups on my property here in BB, Arkansas, where I'll invite club members and non-club members to come. We'll train. I'll give out information. We'll discuss things about breeding, about the breed, about showing, about training, about competing. Again, just so we can all get the information we need to help our dogs reach their full potential.
Right.
And we'll be hosting next year's Spring Seeger in Arkansas. It will be mid-March. We already have the dates up. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I can give those out. We're bringing some judges from overseas.
Okay. What city is going to be in?
We're going to be having it in Ball Knob, Arkansas.
Ball Knob.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
You got to come, Joe.
I'm coming. Yeah, I'll definitely come. Yeah.
Love to have you out there and let you see what we're all about at Tark.
That's what's up. Gerald, any more remarks?
Well, hopefully I get to invite myself again on one of these other shows.
Yeah, you can whatever you want, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Yeah.
And that's we all learning, all grabbing onto something that we can take with us and better ourselves and the people around us.
Right. All right. Okay, guys, I guess that's gonna be it. Salute to y'all. The next live, I might try to squeeze a live show in. I got a lot of work to do. I know a lot of y'all been requesting John Mills back, but I want to do a show with him and CT. So we'll let y'all know. Always check in at the community tab on YouTube and my Instagram. And like I said last time, I'm getting a ton of friend requests to my Facebook. Follow me on my NWA. I don't really do my personal Facebook with the dog stuff. Follow me on the NWA now. Anything NWA, hit me up. All right, guys. Until the next time. Hold on. Y'all hold on now.